Welcome to the Division 8, October 17th, 2020 meeting. Looks like we have a good crew on board today. Ron is playing the co-host role today, and I think we have Russ out there as well. If you have a problem, holler at one of them, and hopefully they'll be able to take care of it for you. We're going to do things a little bit differently today. For the most part, audio is disabled for everybody. If you need to come off mute, of course you can. Instead of using chat to make a motion, to make a second to a motion, we're going to ask you to unmute, say your name, make a motion for, say your name, I second that. We're going to try that a little bit differently. The other thing we're going to do is try voting in the participants panel. And I've got a few slides coming up. We're going to talk through that if you've never done that before. And then go ahead and use chat. We're going to take that 5-minute break between the business meeting and Bob Frankrone's presentation. And remember, the meeting is being recorded, and I'll get it posted to YouTube, usually by Sunday afternoon, but all I promise is next week. On your PC, toward the bottom of the screen, you should have a bar that has join audio or audio, video, security, participants, chat, share screen, and so forth. Go ahead right now and click on participants. And what you should see on the right side of your screen is a list of all the participants who are in the meeting right now. After you do that, take a look at the bottom. There's a bunch of little buttons across the bottom. Yes, no, go faster, go slower, and so forth. When we vote on approving the minutes, approving the treasurer's report, that's what we're going to do this time. So make sure you got participants open. If you approve them, all you have to do is click yes, and there'll be a little green circle and a check mark next to your name. If you don't, if you vote no, then click the no, and there'll be a red circle with a little X inside of that next to your name. And then Ron and Barbara are going to do a quick check, just run down there. I'm going to do a glance at it, and we'll be able to see for sure that we've got the yeses, nos. It's going to become important, really important to us in about a month. And Ron's going to tell us about that later in today's meeting, why we're going to use this method. So that's the two screens or the two options side by side. Really easy to do. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
Mike Berry, so moved.
Do I have a second?
Remember
Where I second.
All righty.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you very much. And if you go ahead and open up that participants and then click yes if you approve, click no if you don't. Motion carries. Mr. Berry.
Yeah, treasurer's report. As you would expect, not much to it this month. On the expense side, that's it. Any questions?
No questions. Do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
Russ Weiss approved.
Steve Lasher, second.
I'll second. Rick Ware.
Thank you, Steve. Steve beat you by a fraction of a second there. So go ahead and the participants window again, please. Looks like the motion passed. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to deviate a little bit from the standard agenda. We actually do not have an AP report, an achievement program report this month. I talked to Joe Fields, and there's really no change from last month, so we're just going to move on without that. If you did not see the email, I want to make sure everybody knows that Mid-Central Region's annual meeting is Friday, October 23rd, 7:30 p.m. by Zoom. If you want to attend, send an email to abledog@aol.com, who is the Mid-Central Region Secretary for registration. And also, if you want to submit any questions, you can use that same email. If that doesn't work for you, you can leave a voicemail at the phone number on the screen. The deadline to doing both is tomorrow, October 18th. So again, Mid-Central Region annual meeting next Friday, 7:30 p.m. We'll do it by Zoom. And of course, if you register, you'll get the Zoom connection information. Barry, you are up, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. So if it's October, it must be steam locomotives. That's our contest topic for October. 4 entries this time around. And I do have to say, when it comes to steam locomotives, what we lack in number of entries, we more than make up in the craftsmanship of the work that's submitted. And this month's entries are no exception to that rule. I also want to let you all know today the voting was very close. So all 4 of our modelers can feel well recognized by the membership today. And no surprise, we had a tie. and that tie was for third place. And Joe Fields has submitted a brass O-scale model of a Louisville and Nashville M1. And Rick Geertz has submitted a Union Pacific steam locomotive. So congratulations to the two of you for third place. Now for second place, we've got Russ Weiss with a Canadian National 282 number 3554. And drum roll, please. First place for this month with steam locomotives is Steve Lasher for, again, his L&N 282 M1, and this is number 1954. So congratulations to Steve. We're grateful for all the good modeling that's on display this time around. And speaking of displays, that will be the topic for next month. Now, when it comes to displays, this can be a diorama. It could be a small display. There is no size limit for that. Traditionally, every year we have some amazing creativity when it comes to the displays. So we're looking forward to that again for next month. And I think we're all kind of getting used to the procedures and contest rules now that we're virtual and everything. And just know that these will always be posted in an email to you all, as well as on the website. And I have also a special announcement to make. This is another first for us with modeling contest, and that is, just for fun, we're going to have a special holiday contest in December. Now, we will not be gathering for a virtual meeting in December, and sadly, we will not be gathering for our holiday banquet either. So just to make up for a little bit of the loss there, we thought it would be fun to have an opportunity for everybody to enter their favorite holiday engine or rail car or structure, any type of modeling effort that's holiday oriented. Now, there will be no contest points, but I mean, we've all been missing those door prizes with those Scale Reproductions gift cards, haven't we? So we thought it'd be fun to have a Scale gift card as a thank you to the best modeler for this Just for Fun contest. Now, it'll just be a straight up entry. The most votes will win, no second or third place. Now, if there is a tie, yours truly will break that tie. So hopefully I won't have to do that. But the entry and voting procedures will be just like as if it was a monthly contest. Now, we're kind of thinking about maybe announcing the winner on the day after Christmas. So we'll get back to you with the specifics on that. But wanted everybody to get started on some creativity around holiday themes, and we'll just kind of go from there. Okay, congratulations again to all of our winners today, and we will see you in November.
Barry, before you get off, we got a question from the group. Daryl wants to know if he can submit a T-Track module as a display.
Yes, indeed. That would be perfect. We've all been learning a lot more about T-Track, and various folks have been using T-Track over the last couple of years, so that sounds great.
Ron, you're up.
Well, we had a nice celebration station on October 4th. We had quite a few folks come out, sold a few bottles of sanitizer, and gave Fred an award and shook his hand, and also handed out some contest certificates to a few folks. And we're planning another celebration station, as Fred likes to call it, the third section, at the end of March 2021, 1 to 3 p.m. back in the 600 building parking lot. So that'll be your next opportunity to collect your achievement certificates, contest certificates, and get some more sanitizer, although we can ship you sanitizer or company store items at any time you place an order. Just email Division 8 your order and we'll take care of it. As you all remember, we sent everyone a email right around September 26th with a copy of the revised bylaws, and we plan to vote to approve the revised bylaws next meeting on November 21st. So we had a couple of comments, mostly editorial comments after we sent the new bylaws out, but today we're open for discussion if anyone has any questions or comments on the revised bylaws. The primary changes or revisions to the bylaws were to allow electronic voting via email, normally via Election Buddy or another software similar to Election Buddy, and also votes by acclamation, meaning if there's a single candidate or the whole slate of candidates are running unopposed, we can declare the election by acclamation. And then the other changes were mostly housekeeping changes. Quite a few changes had to be made about electronic voting and electronic communications, which weren't in effect when the last bylaws were written in 2008. It's amazing when you think back in 2008 how much things have changed between now and 12 short years. So with that said, are there any questions or discussion regarding the revised bylaws, which I'm sure everyone has poured through in great detail?
Well, I have.
Go ahead, Fred.
No, I have poured through them in great detail.
Oh, okay. Any questions from anybody? Unmute yourself. I don't hear anything, so.
Nope. All right, I'm going to move on then. Thank you very much, Ron, and the entire Bylaws Committee.
Yes, we were assisted by Russell Weiss and the legendary Bob Dawson. Thanks very much for your help.
Programs and meetings. Today, of course, Bob Francrone is presenting a brand new clinic, How to Add a Scene to a Layout in 15 Easy Steps. Next month, of course, our gathering is on Saturday, November 14th. Going to do a Zoom virtual gathering as usual. Kevin Jones, our friend Jim Petro from way out west, and Tom Guthner are going to show us some work that they've all been doing recently. And then the Division 8 meeting is, of course, the next Saturday, November 21st. Bruce McCowan's back for another look at a few more model car projects and loads for open top freight cars. And I'll go ahead and address the comment that Mark Hedge has in chat, looking over here to my right on my iPad. Says no meeting in December. How about a casual Zoom meeting? No business, just a bunch of model railroaders getting together. We can certainly do that, Mark. If there's enough interest in it, I'm more than happy to open up a Zoom meeting on the Saturday after the normal meeting and just have a chat session or a BS session, whatever you want to call it. The Division 9 people, of course, Mark and I have participated in, as well as a couple other folks in Division 8, and they just call it a bull session. It goes on for a couple hours. You come in when you want to, you leave when you want to, and it's pretty good stuff. So we'll think about that. Mark, why don't you post that question in Groups.io and see if you can get enough groundswell of interest, and we'll definitely do that. Other upcoming model railroad events, another virtual RPM, Railroad Prototype Model Meet, Saturday, October 24th, that's next weekend, from noon to about 8 p.m. I've participated in a couple of these, and I don't watch everything that's going on in here. Obviously, there are some things in here that are just absolutely no interest to me at all, but there's usually at least one thing. Mr. Tipton is also a member of the Hindsight 2020, which is the name of the Groups.io email group that actually talks about this. And
all the presentations are really great.
Oh, they really are. I know they are. You know, if I was a New York Central guy, Russ Weiss, I'd be tuning into the New York Central System Hoppers Part 2 because it is right in the middle of the 50s. Oh, anyway, if you're interested in, if any of you are interested in this, go to speedwitchmedia.com. You'll find the registration on the right. The Danville Train Show decided to leave this in here. As far as I know, it is still a go for the 21st of November, sponsored by our Central Indiana Division guys from the north of us. A little plug for the NRHS, the Louisville chapter of the National Railroad Historical Society. Monthly meetings, first Friday of the month, except for December and July, 7 p.m. by Zoom. Contact Bob or contact me for the connection information. I'm the host. And Bob is the everything he does for us guy, also for the Louisville chapter of the NRHS. So if you're interested, tune in. Bob, who's giving the talk this month?
Yeah, some guy named Dawson's giving it. The title is going to be Shooting Fish in a Barrel.
Otherwise known as?
Local rail fanning.
Yeah. As you know, the December 2020 Christmas party is canceled. Sorry about that. It happens. We all know why, and we're just going to move along. Staying connected, just a reminder, Groups.io out there. If you're not a member, you ought to be. A lot of good stuff out there. Facebook, and of course, the website. We try to keep updated as regular as possible. That is all I have for the meeting, unless someone else has something quickly. Let me see. I'm looking at chat right now. Nothing new. All right, so no other business. We are adjourned from the business meeting. I'm going to jump into the Back to Basics presentation. This is the presentation I had set up for last month when we really ran out of time. We're doing okay with time. I got about 5 minutes, and this is a 5-minute presentation. So what I'm going to do is part 2, not exactly the entire, but a little more information about Whyte notation. One of the reasons I'm doing this part 2 is I had several questions after I did it the first time. Want to clarify a couple things and go into a little more detail. But this is the last time we're going to talk about Whyte notation. Okay, so again, it's basically a look at why do you call it an 060, a 242, a 4884, or whatever it is? Well, you look at the leading wheels, you look at the driving wheels, and you look at the trailing wheels, and that's how you do it. So this particular animal would have been a 262. Two wheels in the front, 6 in the middle, 2 in the back. Very easy to do. This one, there's none in the back. We got 4 in the front, 6 in the middle. It's a 460. Again, very easy to do. None in the front and the back, 060. Okay? What if there's no tender? It has a tank instead of a tender. Then it's a T for tank. So this would be an 060T. Again, pretty easy, as long as you know the basics. This little beastie that's sitting out in Sacramento, California, in the California Railroad Museum, I took a photo of years ago, is a basic 440. We got 4 leading wheels, 4 driving wheels, no trailing wheels. Showed this picture last time. This is a Frisco locomotive sitting in Lawton, Oklahoma. It's static, never going to run again. I don't think it can run again. There's too much missing from it. It's a 482. 4 leading wheels, 8 in the middle there, 2 in the back, 482. One of our favorites from the Louisville area, L&N 152. It's a 462. And again, 4 leading wheels, 6 in the middle, and 2 trailing. It gets more complicated when you start looking at a beast like this. It's turned around. When the SP first bought these, it ran the other way. But they decided, no, we want to have these cab forward things. You guys all know why, because of the tunnels in this area and so forth. So now the leading wheels are what used to be the back of it. But that's the way the locomotive runs. So it is a 4882. And there's the ad for this little Intermountain BC. So if we take a look at it this way, again, leading wheels, 2 sets of driving wheels, and the trailing wheels, it's a 4882. Yep, that's what they said, 4882. So there you go. What about this guy? What is he? Well, there's nothing in the front, 6 in the middle, none in the back. It's a tank engine, as we all know, Thomas the Tank Engine. So because there's no tender, there's a tank, it's an 060T. So yes, Thomas the Tank Engine is an 060T. Hopefully that clarified a couple of questions we have. We're going to move on to something else next month in the Back to Basics, and hopefully we'll have some fun there too. All right, that's the end of what I have. Any questions for me at all?